Hey, everyone. Hi. Hello. Welcome to another episode of Alison.
Hey now.
Greg, what are you doing here?
Hey, what do you mean? Alison,
Where'd you come from, Greg?
I came from the world of Childish, and I just want to make sure that your listeners know that you're just as wonderful on the other podcast you do.
What if they don't have kids?
Don't need them. You don't need them. A lot of our listeners actually tell us they don't have kids. We talk about sex.
We talk about all sorts of dirty stuff, but also parenting stuff.
Yeah, so.
Check out Childish. New episodes every Wednesday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
And now, live from Isolation Station in Burbank, California, it's The Plague, week 39 of the Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Alison welcomes her guests. She's a former Miss New York and current co-host of Mornin with Bill Schulz and Joanne Nosuchinsky. It's Joanne Nosuchinsky. And he's a writer, professional smartass, and chocoholic, but for alcohol, it's Bill Schulz. Tone Zone is here to tell Elf on his Shelf that if he goes to Santa with what he knows, he'll be more like an imp with a limp. I'm her husband, Daniel, saying hop on board the love bus and say hello to your new best friend, Alison Rosen.
Alison Rosen. Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her the good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison Rosen, Alison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little chocolate-dipped pretzels with sprinkles. Welcome to another exciting Thursday show. That particular carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon by Wendy Curtis. Now, I did not have time to read my latest report from my carb czar, Jess Flowers. However, I'm pretty sure Wendy Curtis is a first-time carbohydrate submitter, so thank you. Yes, I'm on Patreon. You can submit carbs that I will then call you. You can get weekly bonus episodes, a big one coming up with Tony and with my husband. I just did an Ask Alison Anything or where I revealed all my secrets, all sorts of fun stuff. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen. Very excited to welcome a couple first-time guests on the Thursday show, although one has been a guest on the Monday show before. It is a dynamic duo who host the show together and also appeared at different times on another show that I've also been on. I'm just going to bury the lead. It is Bill Schulz and Joanne Nosuchinsky. Hello. Welcome.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
It's very exciting to have you guys. Joanne or Joe, and I haven't decided which I'm going to call you. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Perfectly.
Thank you.
It's very phonetic.
Thank you.
So you guys host Mornin on Compound Media, and that has 3 exclamation points, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't fuck around. Sorry, are we allowed to swear? I always forget.
You are. Yeah, you are.
Good.
Yeah. So you guys host that, but you also were both on Red Eye, which I was also on, but not in a permanent status like you. So we'll get into that because
you were a writer.
I was. Yeah. Those were some fun, good old days. Bill and I go back, I was trying to figure it out. Did we meet in
15 years? I'd say we go back almost 15 years.
I think it might be more like 16. Not that it's that important to nail it down.
All right.
I feel like it was 2004.
Listen, sister specifics. I think I nailed it with 15. If you want to do a year, it's fine.
And with us, as always, it's the festive Tony Thaxton.
Hello.
Oh, my God. I love Tony's background. It's amazing.
Thank you. Last week we had Allie McKay on, and she was all festive, and I was in the other room that wasn't as festive, and she inspired me to do it out here this week.
All right. Actually, Tony, if you'll indulge me, I'm going to give you something. Ready?
Okay.
Ready for this?
Oh.
Wow.
For the listener,
See?
he has
I
the
can be
Christmas
festive,
Story
too.
leg lamp. Yeah. Yes. I don't have one of those.
Yeah, that is movie scale, not to brag. Yeah.
Where did you get that, Bill? And why?
Jonathan Schulz, my middle brother, who you know, gave it to me because I was given that when I was working at Stuff Magazine. It was it's the same company as Maxim, kind of the same deal. And it was before it was released to the masses. And I was so excited about it because I was doing a stupid story on it. Bringing it home, left it on the subway.
Oh, no.
Left it on the GD subway. I don't know why I'm censoring myself. And, of course, I called MTA Lost and Found. Someone took it. And my brother felt so bad for me. Right when it came out, he bought me the actual one after I'd left the free one on the subway. But long story short, that's how I have that one, yes.
You called MTA. What did you say when you called them? Like, did someone
I didn't even know how to describe it. I'm like, do you have like a Christmas Story thing that's not been released to the public yet? Oh, by the way, it's movie scale. It was gone. It was gone. I'm sure I probably walked by it in Times Square being sold to tourists at some point, but it still makes me angry.
I have a really embarrassing question.
Love
Given that I am in or very close to Hollywood, and I like to think of myself as something of an insider, although
Yes.
I never was Miss New York City representing Hell's Kitchen 2013 like Joe. So my relationship with show business is not the same. I'm sorry, when you say movie scale, I get what that means, but I don't know what that means.
Oh, just it's an exact replica of what was in the movie. Because they sell... Why did you ask this question? Because the answer is so awful. They sell various sizes of Christmas Story lamps. I have the actual size.
I see.
And like all of it's got the stockings and everything. It's
The
beautiful.
fishnets.
Yeah.
Right. So like if I wanted like a tabletop tiny leg.
Yeah, you could.
Like
but
a
then
baby
you're-
leg.
Yeah, but you're a poser. You're not a real Christmas Story fan. Yeah. You could do that, sure, but yeah.
But why?
Right. Why
you?
would I?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Why
leaving the
would I?
Dodgers game at the 7th inning. I mean, do it, but it's just you're not a real fan.
As you know, Bill, I don't know sports.
Nah, sorry, that was a terrible reference.
Joe, do you? Do you know sports?
I can pretend really well.
She can.
The most I know about sports is like which stadiums have the best beer and food deals. That's about
Wow.
Now,
Have you guys gone to a game together?
Yes, actually. We went
Yeah,
to a
we
Yankees
have.
game together, and we
Yeah.
sat in Brian Cashman's suite.
you're welcome, by the way. I don't even
Thank
think you
you.
ever thanked me for that. Yeah.
I don't think I did. Yeah, but that was
no,
fun.
you didn't. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
So I want to get into some fun facts with you guys because my listeners. So Monday show is like a one-on-one interview. That's the one that you were on, Bill. And then do you remember you couldn't get an Uber, so I gave you a ride like across town?
I felt terrible about that. Oh, God. I'm the worst. I was like, that must have been the worst guest ever that you had to do that.
No, it was. I hadn't seen you in a while. It gave us a chance to catch up more.
I like that.
And to talk about former bosses. So it was actually fun, but I just like to bring it up because how nice of me, really.
It really was nice of you.
Very
And
you.
you're right. I do owe you. I'll send you a check for gas. But
I ferried you across town to your live TV appearance.
Yeah, I went from you to be on the live Fox.
It was Lauren
report
Sivan
with
show.
Lauren Sivan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was around this time of the year too, because I remember it was a Christmas show.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, what I was saying is you've been on the one-on-one Monday show, and then the Thursday show is like a panel, and we talk about our lives and stuff. And I think that some of my listeners are like, you're throwing these new people at us. We don't know who they are. So that's why I want to just quickly get into some fun facts so they can learn who you are. But first, I have to share some drama happening in my own life. Tony doesn't even know about this. I don't even know if I should talk about this. However, I think that our nanny is ghosting us. Now, I know that I'm the
I've never
four
heard
people-
nanny and ghosting in the same sentence before.
I know. It sounds weird, but I have heard of it happen. Like, I didn't think of it as a phenomenon. However, now that it's happening to us, and I will get into it, I'm thinking back over the years, and I know of two other people whose nannies just suddenly like were MIA. And again, like I feel hopefully everything will be fine and she'll come back and it'll all be hunky dory, and I'll hope that she never ever hears this. I really
She's
am
gonna
holding
hear it.
out. I'm holding out hope that that's going to happen. I don't think she listens. She gets enough of it in her daily
You'll find
life.
out soon.
I sure will. Well, but anyway, so, and she's been with us since Elliot I think in July or August and Elliot was born in February. So like since he was 4 months old, and he's going to be 4 soon. So that's like a big chunk of time. And she's great. And a lot of people are like, she doesn't just take care of the kids. She takes care of all of us. And it's not like that. She's not our Mr. Belvedere, but she takes care of the kids.
Good reference.
Thank you. It's a timely one too. It's a really curry favor with the young people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have no idea.
So anyway, like a month ago, she let me know that she needed to have surgery, and it seemed to all happen kind of fast. And she was going to be out for 3 or 4 weeks. So that was like 5 weeks ago. And I sent her a text on the day the surgery was going to happen. And then I sent her a video from the kids, like wishing her, good luck, wishing her well. And then I texted her a few other times, and I have never heard back from her. I did hear back from her daughter, though, to one of them, like texting from her phone. I did text with her roommate, who was also having trouble getting in touch with her. But then like finally did hear back. But that was like a few weeks ago. I don't know if this shows that I am deluded or it shows that I'm a good employer. And they're really not the same at all. But for the first time, I'm like, oh my God, did she not like this job? Like, it truly is like, how could that be? Like, it never even entered my head that she didn't like. This is just baffling to me. And I still don't think that's the case.
I feel like the problem with my job is I'm slowly turning into Joanne, which is not a good thing. Joe, what was the first thing that crossed your mind when Alison said that her nanny was ghosting her? I bet it was the same thing that crossed my mind as far as what's going on overall in the United States. Well, what did you think?
Is she dead?
I thought she had COVID and she wasn't telling me. That's what I thought.
Well,
yeah.
I think it could be two things. It's interesting that you question if she didn't like her job. Because if I were you, I would be questioning, what did I do in the last 2 months? Like, was there an inciting incident that made her question? Or another very real problem in our country health-wise is addiction to painkillers. She had some surgery.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You morbid motherfucker.
Speaking of addiction, Greg, excuse me. There's a lot of Gregs in my life. None of them are Gutfeld. There's a lot of other Gregs, though.
We don't need to mention his name.
Bill is smoking a cigarette while we're doing the show. Literally the first time that's happened on the show. Yeah. I mean, that I've been aware. No, because I've seen the guest. Anyway, smoke up.
I didn't even catch that.
If you guys start coughing, I'll put it out. Yeah.
I do have asthma, so I would appreciate it. Yeah.
Joe, as you were saying, the inciting incident over the last... I mean, this is the first time I'm talking about it on the show. This is obviously going to be the inciting incident.
Yeah. Very possible.
She's just out for the count. She's not ghosting you. She's recovering.
But...
How long did you say it's been?
That occurred to... the surgery was almost 5 weeks ago.
That's a long time.
Oh, well, then
when she told me 3 to 4 weeks, I thought, I bet it's going to be more like 6 weeks, like given, the full recovery and everything. I'm just saying to go this long without responding to my text, including a super cute text from my children who I pay her to love.
Well, but by the way, one thing that you can always guarantee is that asking Joanne any type of maternal advice, you're going to get great responses. I've never met a more maternal person than Joanne Nosuchinsky.
No, she's already reassured me that this woman is possibly no longer among us.
Joanne barely knows what kids are.
Well, so if I had kids, I would need a nanny, so I feel for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
Bill, question. You said that if she had COVID... what if she has COVID and doesn't want to tell me?
She wouldn't tell you. Yeah, she wouldn't tell you because it would freak you out. Because it would freak you out. I mean, the stigma is such that even after 9 days, I think everyone is still weirded out by whether or not you could get it, blah, blah, blah. You might still be able to spread it. We don't know. And I would say that if she had that, and that was the first thing that went to my mind, that she was ghosting you because she didn't want to really tell you that, she
Well-
can't smell or, all that stuff.
But it doesn't take away your ability to text.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a side effect of the surgery.
That did occur to me, especially having been in like a medical setting and now being in a different household. But I still would think she would, like, I would be totally accepting of like, this is what happened, and here's how long. And then together we would decide how long we should wait, and she'd obviously get tested. And I don't know. The whole thing is just weird. I obviously I go back and forth between being worried about her, thinking everything's going to be fine, and it'll be like, oh, that was a weird lapse in communication, or thinking, is she trying to get another job? Like, is there another job or something? That's probably not that. Again, I can't accept that working for us isn't a dream.
Let's be honest, Alison. You're not worried for her. You're just worried about whether or not she's getting another job. I mean, come on. Let's go past that. Yeah, that's the only thing you're worried about.
Excuse me. Is this opinion based on some kind of misogynistic view of women, or based on like a knowledge of me, or
No, my knowledge of you. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. You guys, we have quite a surprise. Someone here to reprise or reprise an old segment. And it's a surprise reprise.
It's a vague rhyme, so I like that.
Surprise reprise.
Surprise,
There we go.
reprise. Yeah.
Can you hear us? Hello?
Hello?
Oh,
What?
It's Alfred.
Oh.
Oh my
How you guys
god! By the way, Alison didn't tell me about this, and
No, it's a
I'm
surprise.
against it. I'm against it.
You should be. You should be.
All right. Joining the show now is Alfred Schulz, who was a very, 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 very early guest on the show when I used to
loved
do it
it.
out of my apartment in Brooklyn. And he did a segment called Things You Never Hear People Say. And then at the beginning of quarantine, I had him back on, and he's back. Is it reprise or reprise? Because I want a surprise reprise. A surprisal reprisal?
Go ahead.
I like reprise. I think reprise sounds more like British and educated. Reprise.
So it's a surprise reprise.
Yes.
By the way, I have a surprise for you guys. Mary
No.
Nosuchinsky, can you hear me? It's Joanne's
No,
sister. Yeah.
she would never.
She's got other things to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So
Hi, Alfred.
Hey, Bill. Hey,
are
Joanne.
you?
Hi,
are
Tony.
you?
Hello.
Hey, Alison.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't do the full
That's
introduction.
okay. Monty.
I didn't do
It's
what is the
hilarious.
full Monty? Because I didn't see the movie that comes from.
It's your balls. Yeah, you
It's all nude.
Yeah.
So can a lady do the full Monty?
I think so.
Ideally.
Okay.
Go ahead, girls.
Let's do things you never hear people say.
Uh-oh.
Things you never hear people say when you pass them on your way. As you go throughout the day, these are things you never hear people say.
Yeah. All right. Let's hear it.
All right. Well, this was written quickly today, not that long ago. So here we go.
case anyone was under the illusion that I prepare way in advance, I'm letting you know that is not the case. Apologies to everyone involved, which is everyone on this show and also the listeners.
6 months ago, you're like, I think Bill and Joanne are coming on. I want you to come on. And then I just crammed.
Yeah. My
So,
God, your last minute.
My fault. Yeah, it's my fault. All right, so I normally did, I think, 10 of these, so I'm doing about 5 or so now. They're kind of COVID-y, kind of like me. All right, so, all right, number 1. This year is really, I already messed up. Take 2.
Worst.
I am the worst. This year has really flown by. Number 2.
Oh, no.
I feel
you're
like
freezing.
all of this has really united the country. Number 3, I'm really going to miss... Uh-oh. I'm freezing? Am I back?
Yeah, a little
My
bit.
internet should be perfect. I'm paying good money for this stupid internet. All right.
Number 3.
Is that why I couldn't hear all of your laughs?
Yeah.
All right, number 3, I'm really going to miss masks. Number 4, Alfred definitely looks like the youngest Schulz. I am, for the record. And then 5, Greg was definitely the funniest person on Red Eye.
Turn it off. Wait, how do you turn off the Zoom?
How do you turn off the Zoom?
Yeah,
Good question.
Those were magnificent. Those were great.
Thank you.
Alfred, are you available to stick around for a little while?
It all depends on what you're talking about.
We are going to get into some fun facts with Bill and Joe because I was explaining.
I'm super busy.
But
I can't do that.
Alfred fun facts too. We could get some fun facts for you.
Sure. I'll stick around if you'll have me.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
That's a fun fact.
Bill, could you tell me some fun facts about Joe?
Yes. Joe and her sister, and I still don't even understand what this is. They used to be in a competitive, they were in a team and they would dance with other people, other sisters in New Jersey competitively, and they would wear matching outfits. A lot of them had bell bottoms because I guess it helps with the dancing. And their mom would take embarrassing pictures of them doing this. And I feel that was what set Joe off into the performing arts. So that's one fun fact.
Joe, is that true?
That is true. Wow. He made it sound way more like a Lifetime movie than it really was.
No, it's a Lifetime movie.
It was a competition dance team, kind of like if you've ever seen Dance Moms. It was a lot like that. And yeah, there were a lot of siblings who were in these classes together. But yeah, we competed all over the country, and I did that for a few years. But then I wanted to quit because it was a lot. It was a lot of dance classes and rehearsals. And my mother let me quit. And she said, quote, "You'll save us thousands of dollars." So,
my God,
there you have it.
Who makes the money from these things that little children have to pay enormous amounts of money to compete in?
It's a scam. It's
the
a total
studio
scam,
owners, the competition, like franchise holders, all of that.
Big Capizio.
Yeah.
So you guys quit that? So what have you been doing the past 3 years then?
That's so sweet. Thank you for telling me I could still pass for a 12-year-old. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, Joe, could you give me... Oh, no, sorry, Bill. What were you saying?
No, go ahead.
Joe, could you give me a Bill fun fact?
Sure. This might not sound like a Lifetime movie. It might sound more like To Catch a Predator.
Oh, boy.
But Bill and his brothers, when they were growing up, had a real affinity for Indiana Jones. Often dressing up in costume, not just at Halloween. And to this day, Bill still is obsessed with that whole franchise.
Yes. Yeah. Well. All right, Alfred, start talking. I'll show them the present that you recently got me, but keep going. But yeah, Joan's right.
Why do I have to keep talking? Why are you giving me homework to do?
Well, you can say whether this is okay. I will interject and say that last I was aware of Bill's passion for a movie franchise, it was, I think, Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's embarrassing.
I never liked Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, you did. Didn't you?
No. Well, no, I don't. Like, it's fine, but I'm not obsessed with it. But this is what Alfred got me. And as Joanne knows, because I did a compare and contrast, this is the hat that Steven Spielberg wore while directing the first Raiders.
Nice.
Well, it's a duplicate, but yeah, I love it.
No, I paid for the actual hat.
Yeah, he's not doing that well, but yeah, there we go.
Alfred,
it's very early 80s.
It's cool. It's a Raiders of the Lost Ark hat. Everyone can see it on patreon.com/Alison Rosen. Alfred, did you know about Bill losing the leg lamp on the subway?
Sounds familiar, but we all, especially the two of us, have a gene where we lose things pretty easily.
Yes.
So if he tells me a story that he lost something, I almost black it out because it just makes me feel horrible for him and for myself. So I'm sure he told me that, but I probably win one ear and out the other.
Is Jonathan like the responsible one? I don't understand the hierarchy of Schultzes.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Simple question, simple answer.
Yeah,
Indeed, he is.
And this is what's the proof? Like, he doesn't lose things. He had a family first. What else?
Yeah.
Jonathan's got some irresponsible stuff in his past, but he's very responsible now. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, sure, but yeah, he's just he decided to do or have a career that was more stable, not choosing media.
Yes.
And yeah, so that was very smart of him. But so
Alison, who's more responsible, you or your sister?
Ooh, my sister. Yeah.
Really? I know your sister. I actually would have thought you would have said you.
Well,
I love your sister, but like I would have assumed that you thought you were more the stable one.
Well, she got married first. She had kids first. I mean, like it was very close. We got married I got married, I think 2 years later. I had a kid a year later, but she is 4 years younger than I am. And she is a lawyer.
That's right.
I actually think we're both responsible, actually. But she would telegraph responsibility more, I think, given that she, went to law school and all that.
Yeah, I like
whatever I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, and my brothers treat me like I'm the youngest, but in a good way because they help me out in that respect. But and Joanne's older sister by 2.5 years.
2 years,
Mary,
2 months.
2 years, 2 months. Sorry. And see, again, I was close, but Mary very much like takes care of Joe, from what I've noticed.
Oh yeah, and I love it. When going out to dinner and going out for drinks used to be a thing, the number of times she would just pick up the tab was brilliant.
Yeah.
I do that, and then I'm like, why do I do this?
Yeah, your sister's a lawyer.
Yeah, but I like public interest though, so that barely counts. So, Bill, do you pick up the check when you take the wee Schultzes out?
Well, we don't really go out that much anymore because I don't know how long you've been in your studio, but there's a pandemic. But
I've heard.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
Bill has the problem where
Alfred's
he
been
will
paying
take
for a lot lately.
No, but he has the problem where he pays for people that he shouldn't be paying for ever. Like, I would meet him, and there'd be Fox News people that are all multi-millionaires. He'd be like, "It's on me." I'm like, "What are you doing?" Stop it.
I have no one but myself to blame. Yeah.
Ugh. Especially those people. Yikes.
Yeah. Boy. Thank you for making me hate myself more. That's what younger brothers do.
I do want to dive into some of the Fox News stuff. I want to dive into the fact that you used to date Kayleigh I can't say the rest of Kayleigh. Whatever her last name is. But I feel like maybe just 2 more fun facts. What's one more Joe fun fact, Bill?
I did ask for permission before I am about to say this. She wasn't happy about it. Joanne Nosuchinsky has seen Nick Jonas naked.
Oh.
Wow. That was not what we agreed to say because it's not accurate. That's not accurate.
Kind of accurate. It's very accurate.
No, I saw him shirtless because I won't say why, but
I can absolutely say why.
We went on a few dates, and then just like your nanny, Alison, he ghosted me. So there you have it.
Do you think it's because he found another job, or because he had COVID? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he might have been having a lady part removed. I don't know.
He was hosting the Miss USA concert, the thing.
Yeah,
with all the rest of the Jonas Brothers.
That's how we met. He was one of the hosts of the Miss USA pageant the year I competed.
Seems like a conflict of interest.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, it was a nice consolation prize, Alfred. I did not win. Maybe if I won, it would have been. But yeah.
But you saw him shirtless. I mean, that's something.
I think she saw a little more than that.
Bill, you weren't there. How would you know?
Wasn't I?
Boy.
I am all seen when it comes to this stuff.
All right. And Joe, could we get another Bill fun fact? Or Alfred, you could share a Bill fun fact.
Yeah, Alfred, you go.
No, Joanne, go ahead. I'm not prepared, so you go ahead. I want to hear what you have. I already
You've been
know mine.
preparing for your entire life.
Zip it. I want to hear what Joanne has to say.
Well, speaking of celebrities, if Bill had like his celebrity crush, and there's two I think it could be. One right now is a new crush, and I would say it's Matthew McConaughey.
Yes.
What?
That's true. Yeah, I love Matthew McConaughey.
Relax.
If Bill could be with, date, marry any celebrity, it would be Paul Rudd. Am I right?
I think that's one of my number one guy crushes. Yeah. I think he and I would be fantastic friends, by the way.
Okay.
I mean,
You saw him shirtless.
Right, but it'd just be friends with benefits. It wouldn't be romantic.
Yeah. I mean, would I jerk him off? For sure. But that's what friends do. But no, I love Paul Rudd. Absolutely. And I never really had an opinion on Matthew McConaughey one way or the other until recently. Joe and I have done like a weird amount of stories about Matthew recently, but now I love him. Matthew McConaughey is a weird sage to me right now. And I'm not even being like ironic or funny. There's something oddly very smart about Matthew McConaughey, and I want to make out with him. Yeah.
I looked at the main way I get my news these days is I go to that Explore tab on Twitter, and it tells me what's going on in the world. It's part of why my outlook is so bleak, and my world is small. Maybe it's why our nanny left us. I don't know, but in case someone just tunes into that part, which is not possible via podcast. I don't know that she left us. I just don't know where she is. Anyway, I saw that it was like Matthew McConaughey made some bold statement about the left and the right. And then I'm like, I can't even.
It wasn't even that bold.
What did he say?
Joe, you want to do this one? You got the story for tomorrow's show.
Yeah. It's basically that the left is a little too left and the right is a little too right.
Oh,
and really, the best thing that we all could do is to go right in the middle. He's someone who travels right down the middle of the road. But in order to get people to meet at the middle, you have to present it to them as a challenge because both sides love a challenge.
What?
I know.
Is my
got my vote.
reaction.
He's
Bill,
got my vote.
that's your sage?
Yeah. Well,
it's the way he says it.
He's been relentlessly promoting his book, and he comes out with these little bon mots every once in a while that I just love. I honestly. And again, I'm not being funny. I'm not being ironic. I don't know. There's stuff that comes out of his mouth every once in a while. I'm like, Matthew is right.
You know what's a fun fact about him? I know you wanted me to do one about Bill, but I'll do one for Matthew, who's kind of like a brother to me. Is that he is bald?
Oh,
yeah.
I think So is that a hairpiece?
It's something. I haven't pinpointed exactly what it is. It's. I think it's a. I think what a lot of people of his ilk do is a mixture of a few things, and I think plugs is definitely on the table. Yeah. And I think there's some other stuff going on. So always fun to think about that.
Oh wait, what do you mean by other stuff?
I don't know. It doesn't look totally like plugs. I look into this very carefully, and it's something I take really seriously. And I think it's plugs and a mixture of a few other things.
Well, what are the so plugs, hairpiece,
I know about this.
Hairpiece,
some kind of powder, Rogaine?
Yeah,
what are the other options?
I think they just give him things like that. Yeah, I think it's because it's too thick for it to be just plugs. I think. And I think it's just a lot of different, you name it, he's probably got it in some form. So
this is like when I was trying to breastfeed and I was having a lot of trouble making any milk till I finally gave up because I just couldn't do it. But it's like
it's very similar.
It's the exact same
I was
thing.
doing the herbs. I was doing the massage ahead of time. I was drinking this tea. I was eating these lactation cookies. It's like that, all the things that you can do.
It's exactly like that.
Yes. It is that.
Yeah.
Bill, you said that you have experience with this. Everyone should know your dad does wonderful man who I don't know at all really, but does not have a lot of hair.
What?
My
How
dad
dare you?
Our dad started balding when he was 15.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
He had the opposite problem we had. I think we went through puberty way, way too late, and he was one of those guys that was 6 feet in 8th grade and started balding.
Without a doubt.
He looked like he was 40 when he was 20.
Yeah. Yeah, my voice didn't break until I was about 16 or 17. Yeah, we were late bloomers. Some say we're still blooming.
Yeah,
but,
I still can't grow facial hair.
Neither can I. But well, all right. Yeah, so my dad. So I've always been obsessed with this stuff. And as far as Baldy is concerned, and I'm very attuned to what Hollywood does with regards to that. And Alfred, I don't even think I told you this, but it was one of the better podcasts I've heard recently. Joel McHale, right? He's the guy in Community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so he was on Dax Shepard's podcast, and he was the first celebrity that I've ever heard in my life full on admit to hair plugs. Dax Shepard just did a throwaway line about how impressive his hair was. And he's like, and immediately he goes, well, it took me 3 times. And Dax goes, what do you mean? And he goes, well, I had hair plugs that failed. I tried to get them again. They failed. And then I finally got it right. And then from there, not only did he admit to having hair plugs, he called out Tom Cruise. He called out George Clooney. He called out all these other guys in Hollywood that have gotten them. And this is like the last thing in Hollywood that no one ever talks about. And it was brilliant to hear him just go off on it. And I realized that I'm the only one that cares about this. But yeah.
Wait, you realized that right now? Just right now you realized it?
Yeah. I heard the silence. And yeah.
I think that perhaps Dax Shepard needs to unseat McConaughey or Paul Rudd as one of your male crushes.
I love Dax Shepard. I love his podcast. Yeah, it's great. Joe, have you listened to it? I've been trying to get you to get into it. He's a great interviewer.
You know, even though I have a podcast, I really don't listen to many.
I know you don't.
I really don't listen to podcasts. I don't actually listen to much. I enjoy silence. That sounds weird.
That's why she hates me.
Yeah.
Well,
it's very good. He's a great interviewer.
I feel like you're cheating on my podcast when you say that other people are good interviewers.
No, you're a better interview, darling, but I'm talking about people that we should like. It's a good podcast. So yours is a great podcast.
Thank you.
There you go.
In the last couple episodes, I'm really leaning into what might be my personality of being like petty, insecure, and jealous.
No,
I feel like I don't think of Alfred as any of those things.
No, of course he's not.
I didn't hear what you said. He said it was me. Cool. Yeah.
He said, no, that's Alfred.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Listen, I need to tell you guys about something that will appeal to everyone right now. And,
I feel an ad coming on.
Well, what you call an ad, I call talking about something from the heart. Is it transactional? Maybe. But look, this episode is brought to you by Adam and Eve, the #1 adult toy superstore.
I could have told you that.
That they're the '1 adult toy superstore?
I could have. Yeah, of course. Everyone knows that.
Everyone does know that. Mm-hmm. The last time I tried to talk about them, my mouth kept saying the #1 adult toy superstar. Now, listeners didn't hear that, but it did take me a few times to say superstore. But that's because in my heart and my brain and everywhere else, let your imagination wander, they're a superstar. But they really do have, you know, a whole array of toys for the bedroom, sexy lingerie, accoutrements. They have furniture for doing it on. They have swings. They have things that are double-ended. I mean, they really have it all. They have gifts for him. Some of them raised questions, and I think that I know a thing or two, but I don't know all those things. Toys for couples,
Alison,
lubes
new
and
idea
lotions.
for a segment.
Yes.
Things that are double-ended.
I love it. We should get Adam and Eve to sponsor it. Enter code Alison at checkout and get 10 tantalizing free gifts. A sexy item for him, a special gift for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy, and 6 free spicy movies plus free shipping. That's Alison, ALISON, offer code Alison at checkout. Again, ALISON, offer code Alison at checkout at adamandeve.com. And I also want to tell you guys about, I'm wondering if I should put a little space between it. I'm going to come back and tell you guys about other stuff in a minute. Okay. And we're back.
Can I mention Adam and Eve real quick? Because
Yes.
I first heard of Adam and Eve when I was in 6th grade. This is no joke.
Because
I had the actual, that company you're referring to, that you're just talking, off the cuff about.
Right.
And I had a friend that had a big screen TV in his basement, and he had every pay-per-view channel. Like, you pay for paper. Back then, it was pay-per-view. You paid for one movie, and it aired it wasn't like on demand. And he owned all of the pay-per-view channels. And when you own all the pay-per-view channels, you get like the Playboy channel, or in this case, it was Adam and Eve. So he just had the channel Adam and Eve, which showed porn. Kind of softcore, but not really. I can get into that at a different time. The real
No.
But I don't have the time. So he just had that, and his we were like, that's kind of weird. Your family just says like, I just came with the package. I'm like, there's porn just 24/7 that we would like just put it on and giggle to ourselves. So that's my Adam and Eve story. I've known that company since I was a child. How big of a fan I am.
I mean, that's
And Alison, I cannot tell you enough how much it pleases me to hear about my brother masturbating. So thank you for that.
I don't even think I knew what that was at that time. That's how old or young I was, and how old that company is.
I believe he was just quote unquote giggling.
Yeah, he was.
You
giggling,
can do both, but
well, I have another fun Joanne Nosuchinsky fact.
Okay.
As far as what Adam and Eve sells. So we're bringing it back to your advertiser.
Oh.
Joanne is very much against lingerie. Hates lingerie.
It's a waste of money.
I find it to be sometimes uncomfortable. Wait, explain it's a waste of money. With the caveat that will we be cutting this out since they're an advertiser? I don't know.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't like lingerie, but there's certainly many other products that one can buy at Adam and Eve.
Yes.
Nicely done.
I can vouch for that.
I find with lingerie, it's on the floor too quickly. It's this idea of just spent, and if it's like good quality stuff, over $100 on a cute little set or something lacy, something to titillate and make you giggle, Alfred. But the whole point of it is to like, I have found that most men just want to take it off. They just, they get too excited by it, and then it's just forgotten about and on the floor. And then it's like the mood is gone because it's like, but I just spent all this money and now it's on the floor. No.
Here's a question, and I believe I brought this up. I can't remember who was on the episode when I brought it up. I feel like it might have been all dudes. So I'm glad that Joe is here. Do you? I get that you're anti-lingerie. I'm not, like, conceptually I'm not, but in practice I am. But back in my days where I cared more, I remember thinking like, well, I wore that lingerie with that guy. Is it wrong to now wear it in front of that guy?
Oh, interesting.
What do you think?
No, it's fine.
Did the certain guy get you the lingerie?
No.
Like, was it a gift from an ex? Because that might be weird then.
That would be weird. No.
Do you feel like you have to explain to the guy that, like, by the way, before we get started, I got this from somebody else? Don't do that. But
maybe that's what Victoria's Secret was.
Right. The Victoria's Secret was like a guy named Steve. I received a scarf once from my then boyfriend's mom, and when we broke up, I felt like I couldn't even wear the scarf anymore, and it was very warm and it was cold that winter.
Oh, wear the scarf.
I don't know. I just felt like I couldn't. But this lingerie is not a gift. I guess it's just, to me, it's like so associated with like who I had in mind when I was buying it.
Oh, I mean,
I think it's
certainly. Fine. I think certain outfits or things remind you of certain times. If it's helpful in the bedroom, keep it. But if not, then get rid of it.
Every time a guy takes off his shirt, Joanne just thinks of Nick Jonas. So, kind of the same thing.
That's true.
I can't figure out which one is Nick. And I know that's
he's a hot one.
He just married,
Joe got the hot one.
He married Priyanka.
Oh, yes.
I love the fact that you know that.
Everyone knows it. It was all over the magazines, Bill.
Shockingly, I don't follow the Jonas Brothers that much, Joe.
That much.
That much. I mean, I do, but like sporadically.
But not that much. Look, the holidays are around the corner, and here is a great way to stay connected with loved ones during the holidays. It's a skylight frame. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Before they came on as a sponsor, Daniel had discovered this. It's a digital photo frame. It's like this beautiful digital photo frame that you can email photos to. And he's like, I found the perfect gift for our moms for, I think it was like Christmas or Mother's Day. I can't remember. And we got them for them. So my parents have theirs prominently displayed, and all these beautiful photos of the grandkids appear while they're there. Whether they loaded it right before we arrived, knowing that we were going to come see it, I don't know. But no, they didn't. I'm just kidding. And even my kids are able to like tap like and scroll on it. So if a kid can operate it, the relative that you're thinking of buying it for can definitely operate it. It's great. It has a gorgeous 10-inch touch screen. You can swipe through photos with your finger, even tap to thank the person who sent a photo. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. If you don't love your skylight, they'll offer you a full refund. Now is a special offer. You can get $10 off your purchase of a skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com and enter code Alison. That's right. To get $10 off your purchase of a skylight frame, just go to skylightframe.com and enter code Alison. That's Skylight Frame, SKYLIGHTFRAME.com, promo code Alison. And I want to tell you guys about one more holiday gift that is something that I've mentioned on the show before. Whenever I do and people go get it, they always tell me afterwards how much they love it. It's Storyworth. This is a subscription you buy for someone, and then Storyworth will send them a weekly story prompt. And they respond to the prompt. It'll be, something like, what was it like learning to drive? Or what odd jobs did you have? What was your relationship with your grandparents? There's a whole list of questions.
Make it out with Nick Jonas.
Something like that. Yeah. That could definitely be one. And then at the end of the year, they take all the answers and they put them into a hardbound book. And it's like a book of memories. I got it from my dad, someone who I thought I knew all of his stories. And then I discovered all these things about him. And it's like such a great thing to pass on to my kids. This is something for Deb, or I forget your dad's name.
I love the fact that you remember
Johan.
Deb. Yeah, George. Almost as weird as Alfred for a name.
Deb or George, they need this. Give your loved one the gift of spending time together wherever you live with Storyworth. Get started right away with no shipping required by going to storyworth.com/bestfriend. You get $10 off your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/bestfriend. Storyworth.com/bestfriend for $10 off. Okay. And we are back. So should we dig into what was it like working at Fox, or should we dig into what was it like dating Kayleigh McEnany?
Well, I would say do Fox first because Joe is sick of hearing about Kayleigh McEnany.
Oh,
not to speak for her.
Don't put words in my mouth.
And by the way, Bill, I would feel weird about trying to get you to share gossip, except
why don't you ask Alfred? Alfred's hung out with Kayleigh a lot.
I think I will, but I think we all know that late at night you just divulge stuff on your Twitter feed.
Yeah, if every time Kayleigh does something that really, to my core, angers me, I'll do it. Absolutely. I kept it to myself for a while.
What was she like, Alfred? Because Bill, you were with her for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Alfred, Bill was with her for 2 years, right?
I'll tell you something like that, maybe just shy of 2 years. But I remember this is a 100% true story. I'm
already getting nervous.
I would watch Red Eye. This is before they started dating. I would watch Red Eye and then sometimes text Bill something that angered me or something I liked or whatever. And this very young blonde was on the show.
Not
and
that young.
She was 13, 14. She was the granddaughter of Greg's younger brother or something. And so she was on, and she was talking about just she's very pro torture. I just remember that she's very pro aggressive. Interrogation. And it was either very late or early in the morning when I was watching, because I DVR'd it or something. And I was just who is this? And I texted Bill and I said something very vulgar to him. I'll paraphrase. Who is this jerk who was on the show? And he's like, I don't know. She's like new. She's like a Huckabee producer or something. And I no joke.
I forgot about that.
A week later, if not 2 weeks, or like maybe less, the Bulls were in the playoffs, and so Bill and I met. I worked right next to where Bill worked, and I went over and we met to watch the Bulls game at like some pub. And he's like, that girl Kayleigh wants to come and meet us. And I'm like, how about no? How about we're watching the Bulls game and absolutely not? And she came, and then for the next roughly 2 years, she was there all the time.
Okay, I
will say she was very sweet, and I would say we became friends. She was very nice. We argued politics a lot. She wasn't totally crazy, and she was always very sweet, and now she's doing the devil's work. So yeah.
Well, I will see Alfred's story and raise you this, that Kayleigh set Alfred up with one of her best friends, and they kind of dated for a while.
Went on like 2 or 3 dates, but yeah.
No, they were lucrative dates, from what I recall.
What does that mean?
Bill's recollection is not the best.
I don't know. Yeah, that's...
it's pretty good on this count. Yeah, that still feels like a weird dream to me.
Joe, you speak whatever language Bill speaks. What does they were lucrative dates mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
Alfred
in Bill's mind, it means the bartender bought them shots.
That too. Yeah. But it was a weird time. She was a different person back then. But
yeah, that's what your tweets your late night tweets say.
I maintain that. Yeah, she sold her soul a little bit, but you know what? I don't begrudge her anything.
You don't.
And again, like Joe is sick of I have divulged a lot on the show, and after a while, I know I have to shut up because I can see Joanne's eyes start to roll because I'm talking too much about Kayleigh. But she's an interesting girl, and we'll see what the future has in store for her, i.e. about 10 years from now, she'll be president of the United States.
But
and that's when I'll really say some stuff.
She's obviously really smart. Your hunch, if I were to connect the dots of the tweets, your hunch is that she doesn't believe much of what she's saying?
No, not at all.
Interesting.
Kayleigh is very quote unquote Christian. I mean, she is, but she's not like the kind of Christian that you would think that she is. And she looked at Trump, as a lot of Christian right people do, as an imperfect vessel to spread their whatever.
It's Supreme Court. It's all about the Supreme Court and justifying the means of getting people on the Supreme Court.
And again, as long as we dated, I never even knew her thoughts on pro-choice or whatever, all that stuff. Because I just Alfred talked about politics to Kayleigh more than I did. We never talked about politics, and that's a good way to do a relationship. By the way, I highly recommend that.
To have Alfred come in and have your political discussions.
No, don't do that. But avoid politics as much as possible, I would say. But they would get into it, but we never really talked about politics that much at all.
A funny memory I have of Kayleigh, though, real quick, is that she didn't know who the Beastie Boys were. I remember that. I remember we were watching a Beastie Boys thing, and she's like, I don't know who this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know who this is. And I was like, that seems weird.
Yeah. Kayleigh and I bumped into Bill Murray, although I was the only one that didn't actually see him. And she'd never seen Ghostbusters. She didn't know what Caddyshack was. It was awful. Yeah. Date within your age range is what I would also advise. That was the one time I didn't, and I will never do that again.
How much younger?
Although, 13 years. Yeah, she's about the same age as Joe. And I look at Joe as not even a sister anymore. I look at her as a little daughter. And I technically could be Joe's father, I think. But
that's weird.
I think I'm old enough to be her dad. But Kayleigh's about the same age as Joanne. Which is, and now I do feel like a pedophile. But that's the only time I've ever done that. Every other girl I've dated has actually been a little older than me. But you got more in common. Just even things like Bill Murray. Ugh. Like, yeah, how do you not know what Ghostbusters is? Sorry, I'm backtracking.
That's okay.
So your other rule is don't date press secretaries of the president.
That's
always been a rule, and you broke it that time.
That would be a rule. Yeah, that
was always a rule.
Yeah. Let's go back to Nick Jonas.
So, he was 4 years younger than me, so I understand robbing
Is that
the cradle.
true?
Yeah, he's 4 years younger.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, that's great. But you know what? He's an old soul.
Yes.
He comes across that way.
So did you? Well, my more general question is, what was working at Fox like? I've talked a little bit about my experiences, but I was never like employed by Fox. I just went on shows there. But I'm also wondering more specifically, did you replace Bill on Red Eye?
Yes,
ding.
So then how did it turn out that you guys were started working together on Mornin?
Who wants to replace me on Mornin?
Yeah, well, I'm trying. I'm trying to replace him. Basically, yeah, I was brought on to fill a spot. I didn't know that Bill had been fired. I was just told he was on a long vacation and then he wasn't coming back. So I left Fox after about 2.5 years there. I had a great experience there. What's crazy, and I'll just tell this story real quickly. I gave my notice the day before Gretchen Carlson came forward with her allegations about that. Roger Ailes. So when I was giving my notice, at the time the VP of programming was asking me, is it something we did? Like, they wouldn't let it go. They're like, why do you want to leave now? We just want to know. And it's because I want an acting career, and Hollywood doesn't look very favorably on employees of Fox News Channel. So I was like, better get out sooner rather than later. And I was just so surprised. I literally had to tell them, it's not you, it's me. I'm just ready to move on. The next day, all of this comes out and I'm like, oh, they were nervous I was leaving because X, Y, and Z happened to me or whatever, which nothing ever did for me. I had the most professional
because you're
experiences. That's not necessarily the case, but
so only the blondes.
I had the most professional experiences. I don't talk much about the super positive time because I don't want to, negate from people's real awful experiences. I totally believe all the women who have come forward. But no, I had a great time, and they really took a chance on me because I have a theater degree. I have no background in journalism or politics or any of that. So that was fun. But once I left Fox, Bill sort of started his own show at Compound Media, and then was, I guess, looking for a co-host or someone else to kind of have on regularly. And a fan actually on Twitter reached out and said I should come on as a guest. And I think maybe Bill thought I wouldn't want to, but I was like, why not? And that's kind of how it all started.
Yeah, and as much as I'm loath to give her credit, like the first time she came on, I'm like, ugh. And I never thought she would do it, but I knew, and I don't like to give Gutfeld credit for anything, but
I do.
He did a good job. And, he saw something in Joanne, and he was right. The first time Joe was on, I'm like, oh boy, I could do a show with her, and I've been wrong for 3 years since.
Bill, how was working at Fox for you?
Really the only downside for me, I have so many fond memories, and I still am so close with a lot of people that still work there. I guess it's not wrong saying it. Really the only downside for me was Greg. Greg and I were like the stock market. We were either the best of pals or it was just awful. And there were so many times where I would walk to work and I had a huge cloud over my head, and I was so miserable for what was everything else. It was an amazing, unbelievable, never to be replicated gig. But Greg would make my life miserable, and for ways that I can't even, not that I can't get into detail because of a non-disclosure agreement. It's too convoluted. But he would make my life miserable. And I do remember when I did finally leave, that there was so much that was lifted off my shoulders. And even though I didn't know what was going to happen in the future and I was very scared, I was so happy that I wasn't. I missed the camaraderie that I had with other coworkers, but I was so happy that I never had to deal with him again. I mean, that's the best way to put it.
Go ahead.
Well, no, that's about it. And again, I don't want to give Greg credit, but Greg is very talented. He's taught me a lot. But to this day, earmuffs, Nosuchinsky, the most talented and funniest person I've ever worked with is Joanne. Not Greg.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, can we edit all this out? Can we edit all that out? Yeah.
Bill, you and Greg have a history that goes back like decades.
Since 2000. Yeah, I've known him since 2000.
Just 4 years or 5 before I think I met you.
Yeah.
Did the stuff you're talking about, the like feeling that weight on you, did that go all the way back?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, there were times when he was my editor-in-chief at Stuff Magazine initially, and there would be times where I would go into a private office and I hate the word literally, but I just said it. Literally throw things against the wall because of edit things that he would say to me. And now in hindsight, they're kind of funny. Like his edits would be, this would be good if it was well written and amusing. It would be stuff like that. And now I look back and I'm like, oh, it's great. But it would drive me nuts. He would drive me nuts. But then there'd be other times he'd really fight for me and give me opportunities that I normally would not have, and Red Eye being a main one of them. I mean, again, there is a lot I owe Greg. He's very tough to work with, and I've actually was in contact with him within this year, very briefly, and I told him as much, and it felt good. But and I owe you prefaced it with look, I owe you a lot, but I'm not the only one that's had a hard time working with you, and which he doesn't seem to get. But there's a lot of people that have a hard time working with him. He has a personality issue that has gone with every single person that he's worked with, and he knows it. I think at this point in his life, he knows it.
When you said it felt good, I thought it was like after time not talking, you kind of you broke the ice a little bit. But it sounds more like you're saying it felt good to get it off your chest.
No, he reached out to me stupidly. I still have all the texts. He reached out to me for no reason, and he thought that I would react by sort of kissing his ass, and I reacted in a very different way. And without getting into detail, and I never will, but I will say that you couldn't pay me enough to ever work with you again. I will say that. And I mean it. I mean, I'd rather be destitute than work with him again.
Yeah, Bill,
I owe him a lot.
Bill likes to burn bridges. I love bridges. I would never burn a bridge. Bridges are a great way to get from one place to the other. So I just want to, for the record, say that I'm not anywhere near Bill's bridge.
I saw this coming. Everything I just said had nothing to do with Alison or Joanne.
Thank you.
Feel free to call them right now, Greg. Yeah.
But
you traitors!
Kind of related, I've always been resentful to Joanne because when Bill left Fox, I applied to replace him, and I just didn't get it. So
Wait, really?
I've always no.
I love the fact that Joe bought that.
I was like, oh, Bill, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry this happened, but there is an opening.
Not to deflect. Not to deflect, but Alfred had the exact.
It wasn't exact, but similar.
Pretty similar.
Wait, when did you work with him? Oh,
I didn't work with
him.
Greg. He just means
with someone else.
Rhymes with
people I've worked with in my life.
Yeah,
and I had a similar.
Yeah.
I think
you
maybe,
did. You absolutely did.
Yeah, it's a pretty common media personality thing that happens. I guess
you can't get too close.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's bad stuff.
Oh, I don't even think I got close. Yeah, anyway. Okay. Listen, I believe. Do you guys have just me or everyone's? Alfred, I know you don't because you didn't know that I was going to force you to be on the show.
I have 15 of them.
Yeah, I thought about some. I got to look them up. But yeah. All right, Alfred, go ahead first.
All right. Well, we have a song.
Unless Joe's got some first.
We have a song we like to hear first,
Oh, yeah,
so let's
sorry,
do that.
sorry.
No problem.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right. So this is where people write in with things they think or do, and they wonder, is it just me? Is it everyone? And I also solicit them from the guests. But if you would like to submit one, please tweet it to me to at ARIYNBF, which is Alison Rose's your new best friend. And then, yeah. All right. Who has one and would like to start?
I have one.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the things I do, and I wonder if other people did it or do it, it's because I had pretty bad OCD as a child. So a lot of the things
I didn't know that.
are like obsessive compulsive things, but I feel like there is sort of a vein in everyone that like there is a little bit of that. Bill knows the older I get, the more nervous I get about flying.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm Catholic. So before taking off in an airplane, I have to say 3 Hail Marys.
Oh.
And I'm wondering if anyone else does that.
No.
I do not.
No, but I bet
Okay.
I bet there are people okay, so non-Catholic here. I've heard people make casual reference to Hail Marys like all the time. I've even talked about this is a Hail Mary, but if you say a Hail, is it like you just say quote unquote Hail Mary, or is there more to it?
There's a prayer. It's the prayer to Mary. And kind of the reasoning, at least what I was told as a kid in religious education classes, CCD, was that Mary can never deny her son. Or no, I'm sorry, Jesus can never deny his mother. So if you pray to Mary, she'll bring that prayer to Jesus like right away, and he'll be like done.
Oh, it's like a VIP service.
Exactly. You got to know the right person.
This reminds me to promote today's show where Joanne was indeed wearing a nun's costume.
I was dressed up as
to
a
go.
nun.
Yeah.
So this will air on Thursday. When they hear it, go back and find the Monday episode with the nun costume.
Yeah.
I'm
All
sure
right.
people will enjoy it. Yeah.
You know, I was on, this is not the same. And also it harkens back to a time when we were more carefree and also fancy. But I was on a ski lift and I began to feel afraid of the height. And so I closed my eyes and I just said the Serenity Prayer over and over again, which is like my version of the Hail Mary prayer, I guess.
Totally.
Yeah.
Either way, that was the most white girl entitled thing.
That's what I was trying
Ski
to say.
lift,
Bill, you're way too drunk on a plane or a ski lift to remember any prayers.
Well, remember our own Joshua McCarroll, aka
Yes.
our
McConaughey.
what was it? Well, he
Homosexual
was McConaughey.
strategist?
He's a homosexual strategist on our show. He was the McConaughey correspondent on Red Eye. He has a ski pole that is hollowed out that he fills with whiskey. And he drinks that while he skis. That is an absolute fact. And Lauren Sivan tried to use that ski pole one time, and Lauren did not make it down the mountain. Joshua is an odd bird when it comes to skiing.
Where is he nowadays?
We'll talk after the show.
Okay.
Thoughts and prayers.
You know, I saw someone recently post like that they were going to take their little tiny kids skiing. And that's crazy. Like the tiny people on a chairlift scares me, given that me on a chairlift scares me. I guess, Joe, what I'm saying is I have a little bit of a fear of heights too.
Great.
Yeah.
Alfred was kind of that. Like when we, like as a family, and in the Midwest, we don't really have hills. So our skiing was different than on the East or West Coast. But Alfred started skiing very young.
Yeah, first or second grade, but like again, those those were hills in Michigan, I think. So
Yeah.
little different. But the only, in terms of like, we grew up Catholic too, but the only Hail Marys I'm really familiar with are the Hail Marys I would throw to win all the football games when I was captain of the football team. We won state.
No, that's not accurate. No. That's never happened at all.
So, yeah. That's it.
So I'm sorry to beat this drum again, but one of my favorite Alfred stories is that
Uh-oh.
this sounds.
I like
now
it
I feel like it's problematic.
No.
Well,
I know exactly.
Now I feel
where
way
you're going
worse.
at. I know exactly what story you're about to tell. Go ahead.
well, just that you had a adorable speech impediment.
Oh, that's problematic.
Joanne still does.
No, I think it's problematic that I want someone to do the imitation of it.
Oh, that's very problematic.
Oh, I
would be
thought
very
you were going to
offended.
do. I thought you were going to do the story where Alfred thought he was mentally challenged because when he went to a speech therapist, he was surrounded by kids that were mentally challenged. And
Surrounded is not exactly how it went. but-
No, I
and
didn't.
he thought that my mom was now telling him that indeed he was mentally challenged too. And if you were mentally challenged, how would you know until you're surrounded by other people? And he had this grace of God moment where he thought he was mentally challenged. Yeah,
No, I don't think I knew that story.
it's a great
That's
story.
problematic.
But
It's
I'm
great.
sorry, how,
I minced my words on that one. Yeah.
how did you used to sound?
I would say Alfred, and I would add a syllable to Bill and take one away from Jonathan, my other brother. So it was Beal and
Yeah.
Joffin.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I just think that's sweet.
It wasn't sweet when you were 19 years old.
Yeah.
It
No.
was less sweet. No.
At 21, it's weird. Well, and by the way, Joanne still has, it's either crooked S's or lazy S's. And I'm reminded of it now more than now that we do Drew Barrymore clips where Drew Barrymore's speech impediment is horrific. But I hear now Joanne's speech impediment more and more on air.
Okay, mine is not. I'm going to say S's. Ready? Sally sold seashells by the seashore. It's just like my jaw's
Still
a little
not good.
crooked. But
That
Bill
sounded
can't
normal to
say NGs.
Yes.
He can't. He was trying to say thong the other day, like thong sandals, maybe it was, or like a woman's thong. And it was thong, thong, thong. And it's like sometimes people don't know what he's trying to say. And I have to tell them.
Yes.
You're not Ron.
There you go.
I heard him try to tell someone that we were going to Langen's, and it took a while.
That was a hard one.
Yeah, oh God. I wish there was any bar that we went to besides that bar that I'm not going to say the name of because of the NG in that particular bar. Yeah, that was
Also
always
because
rough.
that place sucked.
Yeah, it was not a good place. But like with Joe, like any story that has a good amount of S's in it, I hear it more and more every day. She just has a weird thing with S's. And it's almost like she just it's like the snake in the Jungle Book. And like the S's just go on forever because she hasn't really mastered how to do it.
Tony,
And I hear it every day.
Tony, are you hearing any weirdness in her S's? I'm not.
No. I was even
Give her
until
something.
he
Give her-
explained it just now. I was trying to even understand what he meant because, like, the only
It's if
kind
she's-
of speech impediment I can think of is a list.
Tony, it's if she's reading something. If she's reading a story, then it really comes out.
Well, maybe
she's
it's
just
just my
talking, then.
placeholder instead of an while I'm trying to find the most interesting parts of a story.
By the way,
I
you hear it there?
just
I heard it there.
elongate my S's until I get to the best part.
That's smart. Because I say Maybe I'll
There you
just
go.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
do that.
Totally.
That's
And
smart.
there is for sure an ASMR crowd where if
Oh,
you
yeah.
just whisper it, they'll love it.
Yeah, that's true too.
ASMR does nothing for me. You guys?
I don't like it.
It freaks me out.
Yeah.
I like it.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you look up ASMR videos and listen to them or watch them or all that?
Not, I wouldn't say regularly, but I definitely have. So the right ones I find very relaxing sometimes.
What are the right ones?
There are. I think the one that gets me the most is I had found one that is it's like a head scratch basically. So like like the sound of if you're
So lice.
yes, exactly. But But no, it's just well, that's the thing is ASMR, like it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. Like it's literally a thing. Like some people, it just doesn't happen.
But what do you mean work?
Well, it's like a full body sensation that you get, right?
Tingles, kind of almost, yeah.
But I get a tingle, like a chill going up my spine, like stop that.
Well, it sounds
I
like
need
it
it to
doesn't work
stop.
for you then.
Yeah.
It more than doesn't work. It like the idea of someone coming up and like whispering in my ear makes me want to flick that, like, get off of me.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Yeah, I don't like it.
It's not like a surprise in the video.
Still.
I'm wondering if the two are aligned. Tony, are you aware of mukbang?
What?
Mukbang. MUKBANG.
He's saying mukbang.
Oh god, yeah. All right, so there's my speech.
Yeah, have you heard of these mukbang
No, I
videos?
have no idea what's happening right now.
There are some.
This is a Joanne thing.
There are some mukbang videos that use ASMR. It's people eating.
Oh, yeah, I would not
There's
like
lots
that.
of YouTube videos where people just order massive amounts of food or cook a lot of food, and then they just sit and they eat it. Sometimes they talk about conspiracy theories during it, or they do Q&As, or they talk
You are
about
so
the
fucked up.
food. But I love watching people eat.
Interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a whole
Half of our
community
show
who
is
loves this.
for watching. Yeah. I didn't know what mukbang was until I met this creature. And now half our show is mukbang videos. Yeah.
Why is it called mukbang, I wonder?
It's a Japanese thing.
It started in Korea, I believe, Bill.
Korea,
And it actually translates the muk or mook and bong or bang. I don't know if I'm saying it right even.
Yeah, I love the fact you know that.
But
They sound illegal.
Yeah.
It literally translates to eating
Gross
and
mouth
sharing.
sound?
I think eating and sharing. So yeah, it's about filming yourself while you're consuming food.
I think, but like
How many diapers are involved?
Jonathan, you are belittling my
Alfred.
hobby.
Alfred,
Did I say
Jonathan is the one that,
Sorry.
I thought you did that on purpose.
No, I did, because that's something Jonathan would say. No, Alfred, it's a real hobby, and us in the community do not appreciate you saying that.
And
I'm just curious. I'm an enthusiast. I want to look into it.
That's
You all are
fascinating.
going to be so curious now and look it up, and I'm so happy for you.
I'm still
Well,
using a work computer, and so I'm terrified of Googling
maybe don't.
mukbang on it.
Maybe.
By the way, I blame the fact that I wasn't able to come in audio-wise initially because the laptop I have now is the one that Alfred gave me. So that's part of it, yeah. But the reason that I brought the mukbang up from Tony bringing up ASMR is that I found the last mukbang video, that Joanne brought on our show, she really liked, and there was a sound thing to it that I think she liked too, because it was this skinny hot girl eating this just fat burger. And I found that Joanne liked the noises as well as just the eating. Because there's a lot of it was going all over the place.
The noises are not my favorite part. Thank you for continuing to speak for me, Bill. The noises are not my favorite part. I don't know what it is, but I feel satisfied when I'm finished watching it because I haven't consumed all the food and yet I'm full.
Spoken like Miss New York. Doesn't know what food is. Yeah.
Is it like a hungry girl thing to do? Because I could get behind, maybe.
I think it's for people with eating issues and eating disorders. I don't know. I shouldn't make light of that. I don't have one. I shouldn't say that. But I think that there are some people maybe who are on diets and instead of, getting the greasy food and the fast food, they watch videos instead as a way to kind of enjoy it in a different way. I don't know.
For the first time, I'm actually like, oh, now I can sort of see what it's about. It's interesting because we have a segment called Snack Chat, and the main thing with Snack Chat is me always reminding people not to chew into the mic. You have to chew off the mic and then get back on and say what you thought about it. Little did I know there's a whole group of people who enjoy gross mouth sounds.
Without a doubt. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyone else have it just Bill or Alfred? I know this was sprung on you. Tony, it was sprung on you too. Anyone else have it just me or everyone?
Is it just me, or in watching Modern Family, do I just wish they were my actual family?
Hey.
Sorry, Alfred.
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely not just you. You know, I've barely seen Modern Family at all. And I've also barely ever seen How I Met Your Mother, which some people
like that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I love Modern Family, but no, go on with How I Met Your Mother.
No, just that I also thought, I don't know that I would like that. But then some people like swear by how heartwarming it is and like funny, and you really get into it. And I've heard it compared to Friends, which I liked. I know that also puts me back on that ski lift.
And that's another thing Joanne's sick of hearing, but like it is, if you can't afford antidepressants, Modern Family, I've watched them all 5 times. And it is, and they're always on. You know, it's one of those things that is in syndication. You'll find a channel, Modern Family is going to be on, and I will come home. And if I'm in a really bad mood, Modern Family, it is. It's just, you know what? They're very funny, but they agree to disagree, but they find a way to make it work. Okay, and they. But I love Modern Family. I like that is Joe really likes Friends. She's now just recently seen Seinfeld, which blows my mind. But the way you look at Friends is the way I look at Modern Family.
Yeah.
Like friendly people in your TV that make you feel less alone.
Yeah.
And like none of their problems get solved by the end of an episode, and like, you know, everything's cheery for the most part.
Alfred, Tony, do you guys watch either of these shows? Or any other similar shows?
I'm trying to think of a sitcom I've watched regularly, you know,
nothing recent
in a long time. And I have a problem too, where like I like The Office, I guess, is something that was on relatively recently, but like people try to get me into 30 Rock and things like Modern Family, stuff like that. And there's something about the barrage of jokes that like my brain just, everyone's like, how do you not like 30 Rock? You would love it. You would love it. And it's just such a barrage that my brain it can't really handle it. I think I'm too dumb or something. And I just like, I can't, it's so unnatural the way everyone is speaking that it doesn't affect me at all. And so I don't really watch sitcoms really. I like old ones.
Yeah, I'm not really watching a ton either. No newer shows make me do. I used to watch Modern Family, and I liked it, and I just kind of got to a point where I was like, I'm good. I didn't think it was bad. I just was like, I feel like I don't need to keep watching this.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm at the point right now where I don't find it funny, but I just find it comforting. It's a warm blanket. It's an absolute warm blanket. CBS Sunday Morning and Modern Family are my warm blanket.
Sure. I can see that.
People feel like my show is a warm blanket. I don't know if they'll think this episode was, though. You guys,
at me.
It was a cut at all of us.
Mostly Joe.
No. She was a delight.
Damn it.
It was so nice having you guys on the show. Alfred, thank you for letting me hold you hostage on the show. Because I sold it to Alfred like, hey, would you want to come in briefly and do your segment? But then once you're here, I'm like, oh, you got to stay.
I was surprised.
Well, of course. Yeah, this is a blast. Thank you so much.
Reprise.
And just remember to send the check. If you got my bank numbers, go directly to that checking account. That would be great.
Okay. Why are you?
Yes, thank you.
So how did Joanne and I get paid? I was
just say your bank account numbers right now, and Alison will write them down.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get my ATM card. We can do this right now.
I would like to say hello and welcome to my new Patreon subscribers, Chris G and Dan G. They're not related, but they both have last names that start with G. So again, patreon.com/Alison Rosen.
Patreon.
All sorts of fun stuff. Special, exciting bonus episode coming up where Daniel and Tony and I are going to watch Facts of Life, Christmas in the Big House, like my favorite Christmas-themed Facts of Life episode. And then we're going to talk about it. And I may start a Facts of Life Patreon podcast.
Ooh.
I'm into that.
I don't know.
I'm into that.
I think you should pull that trigger.
You think I should?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like starting with season, I tweeted, if I were to do this, like, who are the guests that have to come on for season 1? And I expected people to recommend other podcast guests who like Facts of Life. But instead, I just got tweets from people recommending, like, George Clooney.
You should get George Clooney on.
And, like, yes, those are all great ideas, but that's not what I meant. I just meant, like, who are the people that need to come on and talk about it?
Most successful Facts of Life vet, Molly Ringwald. Ladies and gentlemen, Molly Ringwald.
Many people recommended her as well.
People forget she was in the first 2 seasons.
Season. That's right.
George Clooney, though, was in it. So
I think he might be a little more successful.
And George Clooney and Roseanne, too. Like the first couple seasons of Roseanne, he was in that, yeah.
He was on Roseanne?
Yeah.
That I didn't know.
Yeah.
He was her boss, right?
Yeah, he dated Roseanne's sister.
Oh, Jackie Metcalf, yeah.
Yeah.
George Clooney was also in those Oceans movies, too.
I have not seen those, yeah.
Nah, not aware. Yeah. Can we Google that? I think Alfred's wrong.
So
Oceans movies, a lot is going to come up.
I like old school Clooney.
No, I don't understand any of that.
If you like what you're hearing, please make sure you're subscribed.
They won't.
And leave it. Did you say they won't?
No, they won't. I like it.
Come on,
terrible.
Bill.
I'm begging. I beg of you. Subscribe and leave us a nice comment. Click 5 stars. It helps out the show wherever you're listening, especially if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. I'm on YouTube, youtube.com/Alison Rosen. Make sure you're subscribed there. My episode this week with Stephanie Whittles Wax is up. She is wonderful, and go check that out. And Alfred, I'm going to start with you. What would you like to plug anything?
I just follow my meltdowns on Twitter at Alfred Schulz.
A lot of meltdowns.
So, yeah, you can do that right now. And then just be nice to me when you see me, out when I'm not wearing my mask running around.
Joe, what about you? Where can they find you? What would you like to plug?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Joe Nosuchinsky. That's Joe No Such in Sky. That's how you spell it. You can also watch Bill and I on compoundmedia.com morning at 10 a.m. Monday through Thursday. We also have a really great Twitter account. I think it's called Mornin with Bill and Jono. And then we also have a YouTube channel, which we just started. So the YouTube channel, if you are not subscribed and you're like, should we subscribe? I don't know. Check out some of our longer clips and segments that we've put on YouTube. You can get a feel for our show. We highlight all the bells and whistles that we do. Me dressing up like a nun. Bill being Bill.
That's not selling.
Fun. It's good fun.
Thank you. And Bill, what about you?
Everything that Joe just said, and I'm about to do another podcast, even though I'm now all talked out, where I have to defend, believe it or not, A Christmas Story.
Oh, my God.
Someone's going to say that The Christmas Story is not good. And if you look at Alfred right now, that is how everyone in A Christmas Story dressed. That's Alfred's entire life. Like, his shirt, the whole deal. Yeah. But,
wait, which podcast is this? This American Life?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure get the plug right.
I like you. But yeah, definitely to Joe's point, go to our YouTube account. Believe it or not, she is a delight. And look at her in nun's outfit.
And Tony, what about you?
Twitter, Instagram, at Tony Thaxton. My podcast, Bizarre Albums, every Tuesday. That's all.
Oh my God.
Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show? We had a good time, but now we gotta go. Yeah, Alison Rosen